everyone. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I am Jagriti, and it's absolute honor to be your host for today's extraordinary talk show, where we delve into the groundbreaking topic of changing the landscape of DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and Metaverses. This marks the fourth episode of ABC Conclave talk show series. This is an integral part of ABC Conclave initiative. For those who may not be familiar, ABC Conclave is the world's largest Web3 conclave, said to be the most prestigious conference in Dubai, scheduled on 7th and 8th of October. This extraordinary event combines gaming and esports tournament, a vibrant music festival, a captivating cosplay, attracting a diverse audience of over 20,000 plus attendees from across the globe. Make sure you visit our website www.abcconclave.com. Now, let's shift our focus for today's captivating talk show, which is the part of pre event activity. Our panel of experts will unravel the intricacies of how DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and Metaverses are reshaping the digital landscape. These cutting edge technologies are not only revolutionizing the way we interact with virtual world, but are also redefining the very foundation of finance, gaming, and ownership in the digital age. So sit back and engage your curiosity and prepare to be inspired as we explore the frontier of technology and creativity. Our speakers are ready to share their insights, experiences, and prediction about the future of dynamic space of changing the landscape of DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and Metaverse. If the audience have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to write them on the chat. We will try to take a few questions if time allows. Without a further ado, let us embrace the discussion, connect with our speakers who hail from Tokyo, India, UAE, and Hong Kong. I would like to introduce our esteemed panelist and moderator of this talk show. Let's welcome Yak Seth, CEO Chainclave. Mr. Yak Seth is the CEO of Chainclave at a Web3 blockchain development company with a client in 22 plus countries, has extensive experience in Web3 and blockchain, has delivered numerous Web3 sessions, and has won awards including Youngest CEO and Top 30 Entrepreneur Under 30. We welcome you to the show, Yaks.
Thank you,
Thank
Jagriti.
you. Next, I would like to introduce Tony Evans, CEO and founder Raid Group. Mr. Tony Evans is a CEO of Raid Group, a premier crypto advisory company with a portfolio boasting over 250 million in global assets and projects. Renowned for its unparalleled expertise in structuring, capital raising, OTC, Web3, NFT, and AI. Raid Group has commanding presence across Asia, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. The company seamlessly bridges the gap between the physical, digital, and AI assets, serving both the investors and entrepreneurs. Pioneering in its approach, Raid Group has recently introduced an innovative service dedicated to reviving failed crypto, NFT, and AI projects and turning them around. We welcome you to the show, Tony.
Nice to meet you, my dear. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Moving on to our next panelist, Ray Wong, founder of the Asymmetric Capital. Mr. Ray Wong is a serial entrepreneur and founding partner of Asymmetric Capital. His former experience includes Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, Carnegie Mellon, and Cornell. Ray is a global keynote speaker at FinTech and Web3 conferences in North America, Europe, and Asia. As a founder of leading Web3 professional community, he's an early stage investor in Web3 unicorn, including Web3 gaming project and leading DeFi platform since 2018. He also advises projects including a digital pet, a Web3 karaoke application, and RWA lending project focused on emerging and frontier market and AI-driven Web3 social application. We welcome you to the show, Ray. Thank you.
Yep, you are.
Okay. Extremely honored to our next panelist, Shraddha Sharma, a crypto journalist. Ms. Shraddha Sharma is a renowned crypto writer with 4 years of experience in financial journalism. She has contributed to the platform like Bin and Crypto, moneycontrol.com, and Am Crypto, and has worked at Database, Zomato, Caritas Mauritius. Sharma's expertise lies in emerging trend in DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and Metaverse, particularly in Asian market. Her passion for staying at the forefront of industry development makes a trailblazer in crypto journalism. We welcome you to the show, Shraddha.
Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. An insightful talk show is moderated by Rudy Shoshini, founder, producer, DX Talks, and Crypto Talk. With over 22 plus years of experience, technology field with specialty in ICT governance, cybersecurity, fintech, blockchain, and digital transformation strategies. Graduated from UniSA South Africa, certified professional with numerous achievements and awards. He is a founder, host, and moderator of DX Talk series, digital leader platform, and Crypto Talk Wednesday show. Active keynote speaker at events in Lebanon and Arab world. Coach, mentor, and trainer in emerging technologies, fintech, and governance. Recently selected as top 50 global thought leader and influencer in the technology and top 100 leaders in governance and digital transformation innovation. We welcome you to the show, Rudy.
Thank you, Jagriti.
So let's explore the changing landscape of DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and Metaverses. Our panelists and moderator are ready to share the stories and waiting for you to be inspired. Let the conversation begin. Over to you, Rudy.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining from. So I'd like to thank you again, Jagriti, for that warm introduction. Truly an honor to be here today with the panelists. So we're hosting this special edition of the ABC Connecting Talk Show to all of our esteemed guests and crypto enthusiasts. A very warm welcome to the changing landscape of DeFi, Gamify, NFTs, and Metaverse. I think it's a truly amazing journey. Today, we embark on this journey into the heart of digital revolution where finance, gaming, unique digital assets, virtual worlds collide all together. Something really truly extraordinary. We have an incredible lineup with Jakritri introduce them, and thank you for that. So without further ado, let me dive into the existing world of emergent technologies, I would say. We promise you an enlightening and inspiring discussion. So let me start by the first question that I will ask Yax. What
Please.
are the trends you are observing in the development of NFTs ecosystem? How are they impacting traditional industries and creating new opportunities?
Perfect. Thank you, Rudy. So, like we all have seen NFT as a tradable asset and a money making token, but now the definition of NFT is changing. Now, I see NFT as a three major sectors like gamify, art, and third, loyalty programs and ticketing and membership. So I personally believe for a common person, common people, loyalty programs and ticketing would be the major convincing factor as an impact of NFT in real life. Like we all would be aware that Starbucks has recently launched their loyalty program through NFTs. Many football matches tickets are sold as an NFT. Even I tell you the real life example, we are at chainplay, we are working with one of the client, we are building a educational blockchain where educational universities can mint students degrees on blockchain as an NFT. So students for a further studies, universities can verify degrees. For job interviews they can verify on blockchain. Even another example with our one of Mauritius client, we all be aware about carbon credits, and it would be a future as we are targeting zero carbon neutrality. So what we are doing, it's a food retail chain, and that if their customer buys something, they will get a carbon credits, and through carbon credits they can plant a tree. So these trees would be a NFT, and real plant would be planted anywhere in the world. So that's how NFT is impacting in real life for a common people. So I would highly rate that NFTs would be a real life adoption with loyalty programs and ticketing. So I believe innovation and adoption, whatever technology finds a balance between innovation and adoption, it gets into the market. And NFT is still in middle of innovation and adoption, but it will find its a way very soon within 2 3 years. Rudy, are you mute?
Thank you, Yax. I think you shared a lot of light on what's happening in the world. And
Yeah.
then, you mentioned education, and this is where I'll take my question to Shraddha. Have you envisioned the role, how do you envision the role of education platforms in helping individuals and businesses? Because today we need both. Understand and adapt to the shifts in the DeFi, Gamify, NFT, and metaverses. I think we're going to witness a whole new revolution in this space.
Thanks for the question, Rudy. So, how do you navigate transformation and how do you harness, the potential of any innovation, to understand the real benefits of any offering? I feel this is where the educational platforms actually bridge the gap. It can provide the users the required knowledge and skill to not only, understand the ecosystem better, but also, safely and effectively participate in it. So I think that's the base. I believe that they will play a larger role in increased adoption, and not to mention that they help in discovering use cases that can be user specific or community specific. So I have personally used a few platforms. I went through a module on token research and tokenomics by Ecolance, and so I feel education is also part of the user experience. So they are also crucial, as I said, in bridging a knowledge gap. But when it comes to DeFi, GameFi, NFTs, and metaverses, and all of the other things, it kind of bridge that larger user experience. So not only for retail users, but also for institutional investors and businesses to navigate these emerging technologies as consumers as well. Um, so for instance, if you want to evaluate a project based on its utility, its community, technology, scalability, you have to build a long term perspective while analyzing the adoption, the innovation. Whatever is required is a certain level of knowledge and skill, and you can't grasp that unless you have that. So if today I need to assess the sustainability or the economic model of a project, I can say education is part of user safety as well. So I would want that for myself. And if I feel safe assessing a new technology, there will be increased engagement. So you understand, if you're feeling safe going online and using something, you understand it, there will be increased engagement. So for instance, last year in India, the state government of Maharashtra used Polygon blockchain in certain provinces to issue verifiable certificates to the citizens. So government and regulators also have to be equally involved to assess the risks associated with any sort of technology and gain the knowledge from these educational platforms to kind of be in line with uh, businesses and users. So I believe blockchain will frequently incorporate smart contracts in the administrative side of things as well. So I see a huge shift that these educational platforms will be bringing.
Thank you, Shraddha, for sharing your insight. I think it's very interesting what's happening, and that innovation. And we are about, I would say, we are about on another pinnacle of growth in this space. And this is where I go to Tony. Tony, can you shed a light on the investment strategies you employ in the rapidly changing landscape of DeFi and how you navigate those risks associated with the emerging field? But before you answer, let me give some light on the what's happening in UAE. I'm currently based in UAE. I travel a lot to the region, and this is where we decided to embark our journey and our company last year, so that we know that there's a lot of innovation, regulation. The government is very excited. They are trying to help those companies, and they have a strategy for blockchain. I think this will help a lot. uh, VARA, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, is the first one in the whole world. Tony, what's your take on this, and how can we get more investment in those?
Thank you, Rudy. The part in regard to regulation, the first regulation to ever come out was out in Japan. So this was the first pioneering out in regards to digital assets and Bitcoin. So this has been innovative from Japan's side. UAE has got its own regulatory framework now, but it's still, how can I say, there's regulatory, but there's also grey aspects to it. So the problem with it is there's too much innovation, in my opinion. There's too many people doing the same thing, and just because they were either trying to raise money or try and look cool, this is what we're seeing more and more. So we as a company have been buying up a lot of these failed projects because they try and copy or try and push forward in the same thing. So that has been one of the big parts in regards to our strategy is looking to see, are these companies doing something unusual? Is there a demand for it? Or are they just launching just because they like the sound of their voice or the founders wants to get a yacht and all this stuff? Yeah? So that is one of the parts. It's is there actually a demand for it? Is there something that they can actually innovative, and how are we going to get our money back? Because a lot of things is in a bull market, everybody's an expert. In a bear market, everybody disappears. And at the moment, everybody's disappeared. In regards to the financial market, is the mergence of NFT with real assets has been one of the big parts we've done as a company. We've done NFTs for private members clubs. We've done it for our investors in champagne. So our investors that hold the NFT get champagne sent to them on a monthly basis. Okay, we've done it in regards to investment into Bitcoin mining, where the holders of it, just like a bearer bond, would be paid it out. So the thing is, okay, I'm not a technology person. I've got no idea about the systems and technology. It's all about finance, in my opinion. And this is what I focus on. This is what my team focuses on. We have our experts, we have our guys that does technology, but too many people focus on the technology and not on the financial aspect of it or how to use it in the general public or the use case of it.
Thank you, Tony, for your insights. I think you're located in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm located
Uh,
on a plane. The thing is, okay, I
I
the
think
thing is
that's the situation of most of us, and that there's a lot of innovation happening in the space, especially on the regulation or the regtech, and then this is where we need to get more money. But I totally agree with you on the point of what problems are you actually solving or not replicating, because I've
simple.
mentored for a
Yeah.
lot of startups, and the problem is never defined. They're not solving anything, or they're just trying to copy another Instagram or another best application or whatever.
Or
Uh,
to look cool. That's the problem. Yeah, I have a simpler approach, Rudy. Okay, literally, if I'm going to see a founder or anything like that, and we're in a high-rise building, 30 floors, I literally tell the founder, let's go downstairs and have a coffee. And they go, why? I said, just come down with me. I said, if you can't explain to me what you're doing, who the market is, and how to grow it, by the time we hit the floor, I'm off. You understand? So this is all you've got. You've got less than minutes to explain exactly because that's as simple. A good entrepreneur can explain things very very fast, very simply, and go to the point. Somebody that's trying to excuse the language bullshit you will take a lot of time and a lot of stuff and have to make the show. It's a Las Vegas syndrome, I call it. They have to create a big
I
show.
totally understand you, because this is the market that we try to help and fix in our company, which is trying to bridge between those companies and the actual market, and then try to position them as leaders, and then try to formulate the brand
Okay,
and positioning. Thank
that's
you,
good.
Tony, for this. Ray, I'll jump into your side. How do you perceive the intersection of Gamify and NFTs? What potentials do you see of those technologies, especially in the gaming sector? And I know how much is the gaming sector. That's something not a lot of people see. The gaming sector has year on year 15% growth, organic, without any, doing anything. Uh, what's your take?
Thanks, Rudy. Um, I agree that the gaming sector has grown so much, not just the Web3 gaming space, but the traditional gaming space as well. A third to the half of the global population are actually gamers. and whether we like it or not, we live in a gamified world. So it is very, very exciting to see how the real world and also gaming and also Web3 comes together, where we call GameFi. So now I think it's like it's in Web3 especially, it's empowered by NFTs and different coins around it. So it becomes a very exciting new genre of gaming that combine three things. So the games themselves, the financial side incentives of it, and also the NFTs, as I think someone mentioned, the loyalty side of it, as a membership. So a lot of the in-game items became tradable and also exchanged and have a longer longevity beyond the existing game that can go into the next game, or you can just keep it as a digital collectible. I think that's really exciting for me.
Thank you. Uh, X, how do you see or how do you evaluate the potential of projects in the gamify business, NFTs, and what factors are crucial for those long-term success? And then making sure, as Tony mentioned, that we're not bullshitting, you're not getting anything that is not feasible or a trendy. In the end of the day, we have enough investments, just enough investments, so for us to spend.
Yep. So any day you ask me to evaluate the potential of, no matter it is Web 2 startup or Web 3 startup, no matter it is Gamify or DeFi, I would highly bet on team. So who are behind the project? What's their background? How Tony has explained that elevator pitch would be something that entrepreneurs are very good at explaining things. So I would highly bet on a team to understand the potential of the project. Other than team, for a specific gamify, I would like, as a Web3 and gamify projects, people are just creating games to create a game. Don't create games just sake of creating games. Focus on gameplay as well. The way Web 2 games have grown, Web 3 games are not growing. The major problem is gameplay. People should, if people are not earning anything, then also they should have a urge to play our Web3 games. So second, I would say second would be gameplay. The third major thing, we need to focus on a economy. How sustainable the economy of gamify projects, because I have seen 75 gamify projects couldn't survive more than 6 to 12 months because of their tokenomics and their economy. So I would if we want to evaluate any gamify project, I would say team, their gameplay, and their economy. For specific NFT, if NFT is not connected with gamify, then I would see that tech, how they are utilizing the blockchain technology with NFT, with adoption to the end user. So that's how I will be seeing the potential of any gamify or NFT project.
Thank you. Uh, Shraddha, how do you foresee regulatory framework adapting to accommodate the fast-paced development, especially now in the decentralized technologies, and what impact might they have on the industry growth?
All right, so we have seen this all over the world. There's a discussion around, supervision without actually stifling the innovation in the sector. There is also a conversation around user safety versus, privacy. And I feel that Asia is doing a better job than the US anyway, as Mr. Evans also kind of brought up Japan. In the conversation, we see what's happening in Singapore. And so, things have changed. Nobody's talking about a complete ban in any aspect of the sector anymore. Even, IMF recently reiterated that, there has to be targeted regulations rather than like a complete umbrella ban. And we have seen in India as well. Indian Central Bank was one of the institutions that actually banned crypto altogether, but now there is a recognized global corporation in basically deciding how to regulate the sector. And with India taking over the G20 presidency, there has been some sort of conversation within the member nations. So I feel regulators have in a way provided certain level of recognition to the sector by talking about it, by talking about the framework that would best take care of certain aspects. And I feel they are still concerned about a number of issues, which is fair. I mean, they're concerned about the risk that the technology might bring, potential for fraud, money laundering, market manipulation. But we have seen all of that in TradeFi as well. And once that conversation starts, and once we have targeted framework, I feel the onus will no longer be on the users. Of course, investors and users have to still navigate the regulatory and the safety challenges that are inherent in the sector. But I feel the situation is evolving. Regulatory agencies are trying to stay up to date with the latest developments, as we previously spoke about. Educational platforms actually making a way in the administration as well. So I feel we need a supervision that leads to more transparency once the project hits the market. So transparency on the strength of the team behind the project, certain level of disclosure on that, the quality of the project itself. So maybe more checks and balances as per the size and engagement of the community of any project. So if the community is larger, you need to tap into it first and see whatever is in the market is worth investing in. So maybe in a way that it discloses the sustainability of the economic model of the project. So I think it is important to work with the regulators to develop clear and fair regulations. I think a lot of players are realizing that. So a lot of accountability is also, I think it has to be self-imposed if they have to kind of grow in the sector with the regulation. So I think developing governance frameworks that allow users to participate in decision making, and implementing transparency and accountability measures in a way. And I feel adopting consumer protection, and by the time the regulators take care of the market stability. So I think striking that balance between innovation and regulation that everybody has been talking about, but they haven't actually got there, I think it's something that industry needs to experience sustainable growth.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask the same question to Tony, but before Tony answers, keep your question coming. You can put them in the chat. Thank you, Braham. Thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Osman. Do ask more. Tony, what's your take on this?
Well, firstly, the investors have to actually take accountability for what they do. Okay. The part is everybody's talking about regulation. I am all for regulation. The part is regulation has to be first from an industry point of view, because regulation in UAE doesn't apply in France or US or UK or Japan. So the thing is, when you talk about regulation, it's a nice word, okay? But the thing is, okay, it's lovely. It gets the press. Everybody's happy about it. But usually it's nothing. Yeah, it doesn't have any kind of use case. You have to have regulation on where the company is structured, but also on the individual's part of it as well. So that has to be one part of it. The second part is that the government, the government is trying to reinvent this in regards to regulations for crypto. The way that we grew our business is basically looking at what regulations there's already in place and just apply it to crypto. The thing is, they're trying to reinvent the whole system towards crypto. It's like trying to create regulations for Windows 95. Okay, but now we're already in 2023. By the time they got the regulations through, it won't apply to the market as it is at the moment. So the thing is, regulations cannot adapt as quickly as the technology can adapt. So there has to be accountability to investors themselves. They understand they put the money in. This is a high risk situation. The whole industry as itself is high risk because it's innovative, it goes like crazy, It's the same as the internet. What most people forget is the internet was like this until it became such a dominant force. So my viewpoint is regulation has to come from a global perspective. Okay. The second part is the regulation also has to be from an industry perspective, but also I'd take it one step further. Also, it has to certain checks and balances has to come from the how can I say, the crypto provider, so Ethereum or Polygon. Okay, that is how you regulate or basically create a standard. Regulation is a negative word by a lot of people. I believe standards, okay, and rules would be the more appropriate. Just think about it. The reason why Bitcoin was created is because the system was broken and it was a solution. So the thing is, I believe the platforms of Ethereum and all these where everything is built on should also have this in place to help users, and that is where I stand from.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. I think globalization needs a tool, right? And this is where the world of digital assets, cryptos, come in to push it further. I don't know if I'm right, Tony, so that we can go further in the globalization. And this is where you mentioned the globalization also of the regulation as part of standards or whatever. Am I thinking
Yes.
right?
Yes, but the thing is, when you say globalization, you mean the whole image is comes into play one world power. Okay,
Yeah.
globalization regulation is a scary, scary thing. Okay, it's just like water. Water. If you ask 99% of the population, is water good for you or bad for you? What would they say?
They should.
They say it's good. Yes,
Yeah, they should say good. Yeah.
but if I put your head under water for 10 minutes, is water good for you or bad for you?
Yeah, then
gi-
it's
what gives
different.
us life takes us away. Same as regulation. Having this kind of regulation on a global basis can hurt people. But this is why I believe going back to the chains themselves and saying to them, guys, okay, this is the checks and balances that we believe you should put into place. Because this is where the innovation is being built on. So it's much easier to put this on the chain than on an individual point of view, because decentralization doesn't hold anybody accountable. So that's
Thank
I
you.
have to be quiet to let Ray speak. Sorry.
So I'm gonna ask the same question to Ray and Yax. Can you provide examples of successful gamify projects and share insights on them out of the crowded market? I know how much we have over. I get bombarded by a lot on daily basis. What lessons can inspiring developers learn from these stories?
Ray, please you take it first.
Yes.
Or yeah.
Yeah, I just went to Korea Blockchain Week and also Token 2049 in Singapore. And there are actually a lot of gaming projects developed not just by the Web3 community or Web3 developers, but also from the traditional Web2 gaming studios. So they are finding it as a new exciting business model for them to explore in terms of how to really compensate the users to join their platform and share the success, financial success, especially on the platforms. So it's kind of bringing the balance, swinging the pendulum of balance between the publishers and also the players themselves. So it actually aligns better with the players now with a new business model. So for some interesting samples we talk about is, for example, Axie Infinity is a title that kicked off basically the Web3 gaming vertical. That got a lot of people excited, especially in emerging markets, where a lot of people have a lot of financial rewards coming out of that game. But it was a little bit stuck right now because of I think the bear market and also the tokenomics regarding that. So there are new titles coming out to resolve the problems, or basically not resolving, but basically with that are better created titles that are better aligned with the Web3 economics. And for example, Sandbox is a B2B or B2B2C a virtual land or metaverse that's highly successful. for example, they have sold $100 million of land already. So a lot of the businesses
Yep.
like to market their products or using them as a marketing tool on them. Is currently still being built. So a lot of the things are being shaped. So, but we see some early successes in terms of at least the longevity of the project itself. And also, I want to name one more is basically Spinterlands, which I personally invested in early rounds in it. It's the number one Web3 game for the past few years. It's a card game that a lot of people have excitement. The cards are being traded. So I think why they are successful is that to summarize this first, I think it does people do participate in it. So we do need some real players, not phantom players. Second is it's got to be easy enough for it to be social and more community driven. That we can see a lot of wider audience who share basically the passion in a project in terms and also the digital collectibles and also the tokens around with it. So to get the whole ecosystem rolling forward. So I think these are the key to successes. And I'm personally excited about some wide I think like some move to earn or some sports related, some pet related verticals and also chess, card games related collectibles.
Things has changed. It's no longer traditional. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's your
and I
take?
think it does align very well. These themes align very well with the Web3 gaming space. I see.
Yeah.
Yax?
Yep. So I would just add that he has mentioned all the games which have been successful, like Axie Infinity, Sandbox, even we can say Roblox. So what they have done, they have focused on gameplay, they have focused on community, but they have kept the balance between Web3 gameplay and Web3 freedom, what Web3 provides. But personally, I have seen a lot of gamify startups. They are more focused on providing earning to gamers. Now we need to understand why people play games. They want to get entertained, they want to get relaxed, they want to get like excited. If someone is doing 9 to 5 job, he or she want to play a game for half an hour, they would not be going to play some games for $10 or $20. They would even play Candy Crush. So developers need to focus on gameplay. Don't think about web 2, web 3, anything. Focus on a gameplay. Build something which attracts your gamers, which creates intriguing gameplay with your gamers, and then focus on the economy, what web 3 provides additional compared to web 2. So that's how we can build something which can go longer and last long.
Thank you. Shraddha, you are a journalist, and I think you research a lot of topics, and then you follow a lot of new, trying to keep updated. And then you're involved in crypto writing, not just as a general uh, journalist. Can you share some insights of how decentralized finance DeFi is evolving, and what have you noticed innovative approach are taking place in the space?
So, Rudy, I'll say that one thing that I've seen over my time in reporting is DeFi platforms are understanding that participants are not only investors but also consumers. So this is something which I think is important to understand. DeFi, if they want to provide a safe and effective, Web3 platform, for a safe and transparent self-custodian ecosystem. So now transaction speed and decentralization are not the only areas of development that they need to work on. Uh, I understand that utility decides adoption and engagement, but if you ask me, is it a crowded market? Not yet, because as Yax mentioned, there is a lack of actual gameplay in GameFi, and as Tony also said, that the actual utility, needs to be built in the market rather than just like copy pasting similar. dApps. So I feel that the apart from providing all the benefits of that DeFi provides, I think the key evolution that I have also seen is better user interface, because I think a lot of newcomers kind of struggle with DeFi, and I think some platforms have kind of built on a better interface to kind of onboard new users. Also DeFi, I think there has been a lot of conversation around finance for everybody and inclusivity. So I think that platforms are building on it. So there is an increased demand for solutions which are on blockchain, and I think the most interesting to see would be the interaction between traditional finance using some DeFi protocols. I think that is something very interesting that I look forward to. And we need to, of course, address certain limitations while they continue to offer new products and services to the customers. We have seen in the US as well, with the collapse of mainstream banks, and with other limitations in DeFi as well, there is a scope for improvement with the offerings. But now we have seen banking giants like JP Morgan have kind of understood the customer demand side of things, and they're trying to balance out both. So I think narrowing the gap between traditional finance and DeFi would be also an upcoming evolution that I look forward to. And DeFi has actually rapidly evolved. There is DEXs, there's we're talking about liquidity pools and yield farming, and there is a conversation around stable coins. So I think some of these larger synergies can actually enhance liquidity, push financial access, address regulatory compliance if there is a synergy between TradeFi and DeFi. So compliance would be a less of a problem for some of these existing players, I think. So there is a big opportunity. Today I was checking in the morning, I think the TVL of the DeFi market is around $40 billion. So there is a big opportunity there. In terms of health of the market, there's definitely been a hit after the high profile collapses. But I've also read the Coinbase CEO recently saying that DeFi projects need to hold their ground when it comes to legal pushbacks. So um, in India, if I take a personal example, we have seen the mass conversation that it started with Bitcoin around the COVID lockdown, and then the discussion around other cryptos followed before DeFi and NFT actually made it to the center. So I think that is the very order of evolution as well. When it comes to on-chain compliance of offerings, there's derivative trading, liquidity pool operations, compliance, and all of that. So I think that is the pace of change and evolution that we have seen. So I think that is something that the platforms are now trying to achieve. Another interesting point that I've seen in DeFi is the changing relationship between DeFi and DAOs. I think DAOs have also kind of, in terms of accountability and governance, and making it more transparent. So I think DeFi has also kind of evolved with more
The
interaction.
merging of
Yeah.
both, actually, I see it, the merging of DeFi, DAOs, and regular uh, financial instruments. So it's really interesting how this world is really changing. And you mentioned Coinbase. Coinbase in early February, he mentioned he's moving, possibly moving to UAE because of the regulations and how things are pushing more. I don't know if we will end up in UAE or in Tokyo or somewhere else. Time will tell, but they are pressured to innovate, but in the same time, regulations are taking them down. And this is where I'll ask the same question to Tony and Ray. How do you evaluate the potential of projects in Gamify and NFT space, and what factors are crucial for long-term success? Tony, I'll start with you.
From my point of view, is it something complicated? Most of the games that get presented to me or my team, they're so complicated. It's just like you were talking about it before, Rudy, about how the games, and I think Ray as well, about how like the old games, like the card games and trading games, those are the ones that's growing because it's simple. The part is with gamification or with this industry, people make it too complicated. People just don't understand it. So from my point of view, is basically taking the old it's a safe bet, but also for adaptation. Having crazy games with all these rules and stories, it kills it out. That is one of the big factors I look at it. The other part is, I think Yak said about it, was about um, earning potential people need to earn. So I have, from my point of view, we've created this analysis. It's about threesomes, okay? It's literally about threesomes. Not like that, lads. Don't like, okay? It's about the physical, the digital, and AI. Okay, this is what I look at it from a investment point of view, but also from a project point of view. Does the game actually merge with the physical? What I mean by that is, can you actually earn and then turn it into cash to go and buy physical items? Or does it give you the ability to actually get a certain privilege or certain things? That is a big part. The AI aspect is in regards to the next phase of this. But the whole idea is we have to merge the three sides of it now. Most of the projects I'm seeing is they still haven't got the physical digital part. The AI is coming and they still haven't got that part right. The community is another part that we look at. Are these real players or are they just ghosts? Okay, and that is one of the. It's all about user experience. Everything in business goes down to simple economic supply and demand. Okay, is the demand there for you to supply them with this and the game? And if it's not, then it's going to fail. Simple as that. And you can't talk about anything else. It's all about that.
Very interesting. Ray?
Yes. I do evaluate from. I've been investing in the GameFi space for 3 years, 3+ years. I'm actually probably one of the earliest investors in Web3 gaming out of Hong Kong. So I've been investing in different genre of Web3 gaming and saw the kind of ups and downs, the cycle. I think now in the bear market, everybody is very careful about what they look into, but essentially games are the outcomes are very binary itself. It's unlike you're inducing demands and also sentiments and attractions in different games that is so I think the financial incentives is always going to be key for web3 gaming. It depends on whether it's play to earn or play and earn. I'm very much into the play and earn ecosystem. Where, for example, like as Tony was saying, like you have an old game and you add some sweeten on top, like an icing on top. Like it could be tokens or NFTs, which are very low value to incentivize people to join the games. For example, if you have Candy Crush, if part of the ad revenue goes to like the players, I think a lot of people would do not mind switching to like a Web3 version of the Candy Crush. And I think a lot of the communities that can be built through the Web3 ecosystem is invaluable.
Interesting ideas.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the key elements, I think for especially early stage investment is the team, especially the expertise, the experience, the vision, and also the support they have. And I think that's really important. But also whether the Web3 gaming, the tokenomics kind of side actually safeguards the investors, whether I think it doesn't make the outcome of the investment in gaming so binary anymore. It becomes like so the investors can get some utility or financial returns out of the tokens themselves as well. I think it creates a very good financial incentive for both investors and players that can align much better than just the publisher that wins all, to be honest. So yeah.
Thank you, Ray. I think now we're into our last question, and this was an amazing value that we brought. I'm really I'm excited also for the summit itself that's happening October 7 and 8 in Dubai. So I really hope to see you there all. My last question will be, and this will be for all of the panelists, How do you see the concept of metaverse evolving, and what role do DeFi, Gamify, NFTs playing in shaping this digital frontier? How it might impact our lives in the near future? And this is a question I get asked a lot. Do you see? What do you see? What any predictions? Tony, I'll
So
start with you or Yax, whichever. Okay, Yax, go
uh,
ahead.
Okay. So, if we talk about metaverse, I still believe we are not ready for metaverse. Like, we don't have that hardware compatibility, internet compatibility, but there are a lot of use cases and adoptions are already pipelined, or people have framed the structures that we can utilize in metaverse. But I believe, oh, sooner or later metaverse is gonna impact in our life, but it we are still very early to discuss or understand the metaverse. For Gamify, as Tony has also mentioned, that simplicity and adoptions go hand to hand. Simpler the thing, it gets the lot more adoptions. So more simpler, more sustainable economy. And as Ray has mentioned, the way we can share the revenue with Candy Crush kind of thing. So with more sustainability, Gamify is here to stay. Over the period of 5 to 10 years, I think more than 50% games would be on chain. And for NFTs, I still believe the loyalty programs, membership, and ticketing would be a different parameter in terms of NFTs.
Tony,
I agree with what Yax just said. The thing is with gamification, gamification can be anything. Okay, it's not about creating the whole new digital version of it. You can actually, if you think about one of the biggest games that's come out in the last couple of years, if you think of Pokemon, that was an interactive game with a physical world, and that because it became interesting and it went back to the old mindset of individuals of hide and seek. Okay, one of the simplest games, but it's the same thing that you went out to go and find stuff, and that is the interesting part. I believe the whole ecosystem has to become simpler, but also interact to what the real world. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Ray about using the health and with animals. If you do it like this, and the gamification becomes part of people's life, it'll be much more successful, and this will get the interaction that is needed. Sorry, I have to jump now. Sorry, Rudy, I have to go. Okay, take care. Thank
thank
you very
you,
much.
Tony. I,
Take
I,
care.
I wanted, I wanted to, but he's gone. Anyway, Shraddha,
So I think, as Yax also said, I think if you talk about metaverse as a conceptual iteration, we are there, but not really in reality. But DeFi, GameFi, NFTs, I think they will all play a crucial role in providing an underpinning infrastructure. So I feel the engagement needs, and DeFi will provide the financial needs for the metaverse. Once we get there, I think we'll realize. But I also feel that a new type of experience where players are not only when they are indulging in games, they're just not players, they are active participants, and they're wanting to capture the in a set value of the entire ecosystem. So that will also bring a larger utilization of NFTs in the space. And I feel that the consumer and the entertainment industry, sports, I think this will all in a way revolutionize once we have the real application of what we have ideated. Some of the, I think, Chinese retailers have already started putting some of the shoppers in the metaverse, so we have some sort of idea of where this is going. But I think the real immersive digital experience is yet to be experienced. But I also feel generative AI in both putting out ideas and managing these digital entities would play a role. So I think AI powered metaverse has the potential to increase and revolutionize this interaction that we are looking forward to.
thank you, Shraddha, for mentioning AI. I think AI is the hidden engine that will be, empowering all of those for more innovation. Ray, if I can have your quick answer, I want to jump to the questions.
Sure. Yeah. So for DeFi side, I think real world asset RWA integration is big. That's why I'm advising one private credit tokenization project that kind of chopped up different lending facility into basically to the masses that can give 10 plus percent return to basically emerging market projects. So for the gaming space, I do think I agree that AI is going to be big, and also kind of AR VR integration as well. AI can help on both the storyline and also the AIGC side of things. I'm personally also working on a AI related pet project. So I think gaming is definitely a lot to integrate with AI to help on in terms of basically efficiency and also the gameplay. For NFT, yeah, I agree that it's more loyalty, more membership based. Digital collectible is going to be big, and also art. Generally, gaming art NFT combined provides a much better immersive
Yes.
experience. Digital, basically a new genre of digital entertainment that we'll see.
Thank you, Ray. I'm gonna jump to the questions, but before I want to ask you a quick yes or no. Did Apple change the narrative with the new Apple Vision Pro? Yes or no? Yax,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Shada.
Yes.
Let's hope it is another iPhone moment. Let me jump to the question. Jagriti, will you handle this?
Yeah, I can. I'll do that.
Before Jagruti starts, what you think, Rudy? Yes or no?
And thank you for that. Uh, I think it is because, again, it's not just about the tools and the goggles itself, the hardware. It's also they are opening the store similarly to why they won in the first place in 2008. And funny enough, I was watching yesterday the BlackBerry Story documentary. It's a nice
Okay.
movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It shows you what happens behind the scene in those big giants manufacturing, who's trying to innovate, but at the same time, beat their competitors for more users and use us in that space. But what Apple has done is, I think, is massive because now we can innovate across, similarly to what happened with the iPhone. And similarly, again, this is where the competition was again happened with Android, introducing Apple, introducing Android, and then trying to take on the same similarities in this, trying to open the whole world as innovation. And that's why, again, in crypto, Ethereum is doing excellent. Why? Because it opened the innovation. Similarly to Bitcoin is closed, so the adoption on Bitcoin will be regardless financial stories, but the adoption on Bitcoin for utilization will be much less than the Ethereum because it is an innovative, it involves development, it involves developers, it involves a lot of things. So I believe in that model when we as a community of developers, community of adopters, community of people gets in, things are, we don't know what happens because innovation jumps in. Look at NFTs. So they launched Ethereum back in 2014, but who thought that there's NFTs? Who thought of there's smart contracts? It all happened organic with because the environment is enabled.
I feel there's a lot of first mover advantage as well for all of these players. So they were quick
Indeed.
and probably the first.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So let's go for the questions, Jagriti, if you don't mind.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what an incredible journey it has been. Our talk show has left all of us with a wealth of knowledge and profound sense of wonder for the transformative potential of these technologies. We have a few questions from our audience in the chat box. We'll try to do best to address them within the given time. So, our first question is Gamify emerging as a latest trend in the world of cryptocurrency? Who would like to answer this question?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Gamify has already emerged as a latest trend. So, Gamify is something that, like, every now and then there is a trend, and people rush to it, and then it gets down. But Gamify is something is gonna sustain. It's something people can still innovate a lot. Developers can still deliver a lot. There is a lot things are pending to deliver in Gamify. It's just, I can say, it's a just starting 10% of Gamify what we have seen till now. And still AI adoption in Gamify would be a different layer of trend. So yes, Gamify is here for a latest trend, absolutely.
Great. That was a wonderful insight. Thank you, Yax. So the next question is for Rudy. With increasing popularity of NFTs, how do you the integration of blockchain technology influencing the future of entertainment
Yeah, I
and
think
content creation?
again NFTs are a blessing and a curse at the same time. But I'll move only to the blessing. I'll always see the positive side because that brought a lot, regardless of what happened and how it happened and the fraud that happened with it. But I'll take it as a utility because for the first time now we have a utility to be able to kind of bridge, uh, digitize all of my physical assets in a virtual world and then use them for work. And we're about entertainment and content creation and whatever actually you want as an option. So the future will be about, it is now, we're talking Web3. Web3 is about content creation and it's a dual way, it's not just the one way, it's vice versa. And the future of entertainment, of not just entertainment, anything, events, entertainment, will be depending heavily on NFT, heavily. It will only grow and grow with more adoptions. Once the big names starts, I think NFL started introducing a couple of stuff in their innovation. Then later on, FIFA will introduce. We started seeing big brands also entering this space, luxury brands. Uh, it's a whole innovation, and yet we are in need of digitization, and the way for digitization is
Thank you
only
so much,
empowered through
Rudy.
NFTs.
Your response was truly
Thank
insightful.
you.
So, our next question is: how do you anticipate the evolving regulatory landscape and how will it impact the investment strategies within the DeFi and GameFi sector? Who would like to answer this
I want to
question?
just quickly add something on the question that I feel that regulators haven't really reached uh, talking about DeFi and GameFi as a separate sector. I think we are still stuck talking about cryptocurrencies, and once we move past it, once we are over the, this is a security, this is a commodity debate, and because I feel the larger narrative around it, but I think once we kind of move past it, I think then it will be very use case specific framework, which would I think change the crypto or DeFi or GameFi
Thank you so much, Shraddha.
regulatory landscape.
That was a wonderful contribution to this discussion. One of our team members have a question for you, Shraddha. Could you please share your perspective on how the integration of blockchain technology is revolutionizing the gaming industry and what potential benefits do you
I feel
foresee for both
I'll
developers
talk
and
about
players?
India as a market first because in India we have a lot of tech savvy population, and we have that younger population which is actually we have a lot of tech savvy players, so we have that developer population that you're talking about. I also feel that gaming in itself is a market, as Yax also kind of mentioned, so it is already a market. Emerging technology, I feel a lot of businesses have, and I think there is a slight movement which is kind of allowing more integration in blockchain. So I think we will see a lot of that happening in the future as well. And it's very opportunity as well. We have in India Geo, which is owned by Reliance, which delved into It's one of the largest Asian companies in terms of capitalization, and it dwelled into the gaming sector recently. So I
Thank
feel
you
there's a
so
lot of
much,
it
Radha,
coming.
for sharing your perspective. It was truly enlightening. So, our next question is, what challenges and opportunity do you think developers and players will face with the emergence of in the gaming industry?
Uh, with evolve, Ray, you wanna add something?
Sure, yes. I think
Please.
a lot of the traditional gamers or the game developers push back Web3 or financialization for quite a while. Not just the Web3, but even pre-Web3, whether it should be free to play, um, you just buy the title and play, or you can buy in-game items, you can buy to win or buy to get ahead. So I think this kind of pendulum or kind of progression has been this developers are getting used to these titles. I'm actually working with some game executives on the top gaming studios. They are all embracing and trying to develop Web3 games right now because they have seen how saturated the Web2 gaming space has been. So it's definitely something people are getting used to developing and building. But having said that, I think the challenge is whether the niche gaming studios do not want the token because they need is a financial structure or a financial layer that they need to manage. So what they do is to add the NFT layer that can be tradable, and that I mostly look into. And that presents opportunities for more independent gaming studios to develop a game with both tokens and NFTs that can actually bring a lot of the communities together that I embrace.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you, everyone, for keeping this talk show live and interactive. We are unable to accommodate any further questions at this time, and we must conclude the session. We hope you found the talk show insightful and informative. If you have any further questions, contact us through our website and social media platform. Thank you for joining us for the talk show today. We appreciate your presence and active participation during. I would extend my panel of speakers for sharing their expertise, and to our attentive audience, thank you for being the part of this enlightening experience. We are since as just is it's a glimpse of what is about to come on 7th and 8th of October. So mark your calendars and join us for the event that promises a truly unforgettable experience. Once again, thank you all for joining us, and let's continue to connect, innovate, and transform the world together. Goodbye for now. See you